Raw, uncut, and unapologetic. Welcome to Men Talking Mindfulness.
The reason why people stop, the gyms are full the first week of January, and then they're completely empty by February. And you're like, man, I can, finally I get to go, use the machines again. The reason why is that people tend to set them, which is why I don't use the word setting, and then they forget them, right? And then so again, the motivation and the discipline really isn't there, so those factors, the things will wane, right? And so you fall back to your dominant habits, especially if there's a change or something that's disrupting what you normally do. It's like you have these neural pathways that, are really what you fall back on in terms of what you do subconsciously. So that's what happens. You fall back into those existing patterns in terms of how you think and what you do, and real behavioral change doesn't really happen because it takes about, some studies suggest between 44 to 60 days to form a habit, right?
Right. Well, you mentioned there's, in order to really be effective at getting shit done, pursuing something, it's a goal. I think anybody can have a goal because a goal inspires, right?
That's right.
But there is, you guys are lucky in the sense, or lucky you made the choice to join the military because you naturally you're forced in developing a tremendous amount of discipline, right? I mean, I'm kind of accurate in saying that, right?
Yeah.
So what
I think there's some discipline that you already have inherently, and the military just helps to kind of polish that up. And
it sets the conditions. It creates the environment and sets the conditions for discipline to happen. Yes, you're
right.
And
And have the habit of discipline, right?
That's right.
What if I have a great idea, I want to write a book, or I want to go out and climb a huge mountain or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so I have that inspiration is running inside me to get that done. But I haven't developed because whatever, I just had a bad upbringing, or I was lazy at school, or just kind of fumbled through life. It's like, so how do I, the other side of that equation is the discipline. So what are some steps or baby steps that you do that need to be there in order to meet that other half of the equation of the inspiration of the goal itself? Like where do you start if you need to develop better disciplines, or just develop the skill of discipline, or at least enhance the discipline you already have in order to achieve and step in to the arena, if you will, right? Of really kicking ass and pursuing your goals.
Yeah, I think it starts with being willing to do things that you don't like to do, right? And so I think, discipline happens when you start to, and again, it's cliche, deliberate discomfort. I wrote a book called that. All right, got it, guy. Okay. Right. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. What the hell does that mean? John, I heard you the other day in your podcast. We haven't talked about it, but Limitless with, Chris Hemsworth, it's kind of really cool show that I know Becca likes it because Chris Hemsworth takes his shirt off. He reminds her of your younger self when you used to not wear shirts. But anyways, it's really interesting because it's like, all right, and again, I wasn't a big cold shower guy. I mean, this is a good example of that. And I'm starting to dig into, cold water plunges and, how that can help your longevity and how good it is for your physical body and how it resets things. I mean, I was blown away. I was like, this is really cool. Like, okay, yeah, I've seen Wim Hof, sitting in a hot tub, in Finland or where the hell he is. And I like his breathing method, but I didn't really know about the science. And so I started doing that, right? And it's uncomfortable, right? I mean, I just did it the other day right? And John was doing snow angels while he was feeding the chickens and pigs.
Teresa Larson, I don't know, she may not have posted it yet, but she sent Will and I a little preview. She literally covered her entire body from head to toe in snow. I mean, she's standing up all the way up to here. Yeah, in snow. Putting herself into that extreme temperature because of what it does for your longevity. And I can also tell you, we can't see her right now, but we have our EA in the background. And I know for a fact she's shaking her head saying, no way in hell am I ever doing a cold shower.
It started off with just 30 seconds. I tried doing that. I'm like, I discovered that in my shower, it doesn't get cold enough. It's got a governor, so it kind of pisses me off. So, but But again, what I started doing, and this is simple. I've got a neighborhood pool, with my floaties on, as John says, and I'm in there, and I just did 1 minute in. It was probably 48 degrees. 1 minute in, up to my head, dump my head, get in, so I'm feeling the breeze, and then 1 minute back in the hot tub, and then I did that 6 times, right? And then And it's interesting. You notice that your tolerance for, doing difficult things starts to raise slowly, or as you inoculate yourself into that, get immersed in it, you develop a tolerance, a stress tolerance. And that's what's interesting. The other thing I would say, Will, and this kind of gets into the how-to, I know we're going to get into it in a minute, is really being diligent about tracking your progress. Like, Will, I don't know about you, but like John's like really big data nerd, and he always likes he always likes to correct my spelling and grammar and my numbers and everything else. So,
Will gets it too. Poor guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he does it great. John, you do it gracefully though. So thank you. Yeah, John.
Oh, come on.
Not with Andy. I don't.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. He definitely doesn't. He's like, your math's wrong, you idiot. And I feel really bad about myself for about a week. I think tracking it's really important. And then what's great is like, that's when technology becomes a real advantage, right? Because there's so many it's like, I started using this thing called Habit Share. Shout out to my colleague, Brian Kane, who taught me about this. He uses it. And so like you can create habits and then track it. Is that what you have? Okay, we're throwing it up there.
We've got the Whoop, and I know you wear the Aura ring.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah, all these things are really cool, but like it's not about the tools. It's about how do you interpret the information and what do you do with it, right? Is it kind of helping you? It creates these guardrails and these bumpers for you to just stay on track, right? Because like human beings, like we're notoriously unpredictable creatures, right? Because we're complex beings. We're not robots, right? And I think that even veterans, like when you get out of the military, it's not easy. The conditions aren't, the rails are off now, right? It's why I gained, a bunch of weight and fell off the wagon until John entertained me enough to go do something crazy without even asking his wife, mind you. But it's something I think it's easy to do, right? So you got to set the conditions for discipline to exist. You've really got to tap into your motivational systems, and then I think you got to keep track of it. I think the last piece I will say, the discipline is you got to do it with a team. We are not
accountability. Yeah,
accountability partners, right? And like I would not have been able to do that if it wasn't for John. Like, if I was competing with my ass off with John, because I wasn't gonna let him beat me, right?
Listen to the full episode on our podcast, Men Talking Mindfulness, or watch it here on YouTube. Thanks for checking us out. mentalkingmindfulness.com. Peace.